Hello, my name is Navigator, and today's video is going to be a sequel to yesterday's video discussing who is Grahm. I had an awesome subscriber comment on that video. Their name is Graveyard Productions 6265, and they said, Fred Grahm, Big Fred. Grahm is definitely Big Fred. He was a seasoned butcher, a griller, and knew the chaos of commerce, ran challenges, rib-eating ones, you got prizes. He is 100% Big Fred. And as soon as I saw that, it opened up a whole can of worms for me, guys. Trust me. So what I'm going to do here is, I don't want to belabor this video because I did make it on the same topic yesterday, but there has been some information that I've come across that does allude to the fact that Grahm might actually be Big Fred. Now, if you guys did watch my video yesterday, you'll know that I was saying that he was most likely a farmer or a butcher or something. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, but this honestly takes the cake as a far better idea, far better, like, or how can I phrase this? Far better given the story and the lore. But anyways, let's get into this. Okay, so first thing I want to discuss, because I didn't bring it up yesterday, and actually it's pretty dark here. I'm going to give you guys a nice view of Big Fred's. And if you hear the screaming, that's just the foxes having fun here. But anyways, so I didn't mention the video yesterday, but in Graham's voice dialogues, you can actually hear him talk about a person that he had met, and he calls him Smarty. And Smarty, you know, told him like, hey, don't kill people. It's far better to trade with them. And he kind of helped him along when he had become a super mutant, and he kind of gave him some advice on how to live out here in the wasteland. And I didn't really want to include that because I didn't find like a decent candidate for who this quote-unquote Smarty could be. But now I think we do have a candidate. I was looking up online Big Fred's Barbecue Shack, like maybe just some other information that I couldn't find even though I was here, and I realized that there's actually a part of a mission that you do fairly early on in the game that I had since completed, and I wanted to go back and make sure that I remembered what was happening there. But anyways, that mission, you have to come here and kill David Thorpe, and he is the leader of the Cutthroats, which were a band of raiders back when, you know, the bombs first dropped, and he was actually a former executive at Arctos Pharmaceuticals, which begs the question, you know, he must have been a pretty smart guy, huh? And Grahm in his dialogue also alludes to the fact that this person, Smarty, has since passed away. And when we do find David Thorpe in-game, he is afflicted and eventually, I'm going to assume, killed by the Scorch Plague, if not killed by a Vault Dweller. So yeah, I think that takes the cake as to who Smarty could have been. Although David Thorpe was part of the Cutthroats, was a raider, he wasn't the kind of raider that we typically see out there in the Wasteland. The original raiders out here in the Wasteland, like the diehards, like the Cutthroats, they weren't exactly privy to killing innocent people. Well, at least the diehards weren't. So maybe David Thorpe was, you know, a reasonable person, was willing to talk to a friendly super mutant if he came across them. Speaking of super mutants, I want to talk about the location of Big Fred's Barbecue Shack. As you guys can see, it is not that far away from Huntersville. So maybe Big Fred, or Fred Grahm, as we'll now call him, lived in Huntersville or lived in the nearby area, and maybe he commuted to Fred's Barbecue Shack when he got to work. But when the bombs dropped, he was obviously, and what's the word I'm looking for, inevitably killed and captured and turned into a super mutant by the mutants from Huntersville. Okay, let's talk about the biggest elephant in the room, that being Fred's Barbecue Shack, and it's honestly pretty straightforward. Like that comment that I read from Graveyard Productions, we can assume that Fred Grahm and Grahm were the same person because they ran this barbecue shack. Grahm in his dialogue, like I mentioned yesterday, alludes to the idea that previous to him becoming a super mutant, he used to have barbecues in the summer, and he used to have a great time. And I also want to touch on the fact that Graveyard Productions, you know, kind of had the thing of like maybe there was a rib-eating challenge, or like an all-you-can-eat rib thing, and that alludes to the idea of Meat Week and all that, and I would agree. There's no evidence for it here, but given the location, you know, given the fact that it's a restaurant, I wouldn't assume that is too far off. Now, there's no notes or anything here, no definite evidence that this is actually the same person, but hey, I mean, it's a far better idea and lore, far better idea than I had yesterday, and I think it fits into the lore a hell of a lot better. So honestly, I'm going to leave it there, guys. Again, I don't want to belabor this because I did already make a video on this, but once again, shout out to Graveyard Productions, was it 6265? Shout out to them. Really, really great idea there. And as I said in my video yesterday, the reason that I had made it is so that we could make a discussion and maybe you guys could point out stuff that I had missed, and that is exactly what had happened. So I'm going to say this with full enthusiasm, and in my opinion, I think that this is the truth. I believe that Grahm is Big Fred, the owner of Fred's Barbecue Shack. And yeah, that's really all that I have to say for that. So once again, thank you to Graveyard Productions. This is exactly why I love you guys, because you guys, kind of feed me information, and then we can all build off it, and we can all learn more about the game. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I do believe that Grahm is Big Fred. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. My name is Navigator. Have a nice day. Take care.